Hey, welcome back to the channel. I've got a real treat today. I'm here with Nathan Mcfadden. How are you, Nathan?
Good for you.
Oh, great. And if you follow the channel at all, Nathan comments on every video, don't you, Nathan?
Yeah, mostly.
Anyway, so today we're going to have Nathan made a suggestion on the last video to do a plant tour. And I said, well, we'll do a plant tour, but I need a co-star. And Nathan's going to co-star. So we're going to start out here, Nathan. What they do, and I'm sure you've seen this, they come in with loads of beans. We weigh them, probe right here, and when we probe the load 2 or 3 times, and then it goes inside to be graded. So we'll go in the office and they'll show you how we grade soybeans. Not many beans coming right now, they're all leaving mostly. So James is going to show us what goes on here.
So you saw the probe inside?
We saw the probe.
So after the truck gets sampled, everything comes into here. Put it into a pail here. And then as soon as that gets inside, first thing we do is run it through this splitter.
So what that does, Nathan, that makes 2 exact samples. Both pails will be exactly the same.
So if we're trying to figure out a dockage and we just pulled from the top of it, we wouldn't get the true dockage because it separates out in the pail, the different size stuff. So on a non-GMO, we'll do a GMO test on one pail, and then the other one, we
The first pail.
put through this moisture tester. You want to take that pail? Just fill it up to these crosshairs here. So then that gives us our moisture. Perfect.
Good. How are you?
That comes out again. Put it back in.
Yeah, look, there's
For soybeans,
light green light or something on this panel this side. Yeah.
yeah, there's different screens depending on what you're doing. But we'll put this on a screen here. If you want
Like on
to
the
hold
door
that,
itself. Yeah,
make sure they stay together, and you just shake that
no, robot that
back and forth. Yep. Make sure everything gets through. This sample's pretty clean, so there's not much dockage at all on it.
That's probably because that's a sample that I combined myself.
Top quality producer. So then we do the weights on that to figure out if there was dockage in it, how much that would be. The GMO test happens in the other room there. So you take a certain amount of beans in a jar and you grind that, and then we make a solution out of it and put it in a little vial, and then there's a strip test that goes in there and tells us if it's got any Roundup beans in it.
It's a lot like a COVID test.
Could be.
Anyway, that's good.
Then, assuming everything passes, then we'll assign a bin for where it's going to, print a sheet, and that goes out with the driver. Goes to the intake, and then our guy out there will check it, make sure that is the bin it's set to, and the truck gets unloaded.
And here we have, you want to tell them about the computerized bin sheet you have here?
Yeah, so anything that can possibly hold any grain or soybeans here has a bin here on the screen that's separated into intake area. So this is the original. We don't really use this one much anymore. This is the IP food plant, the outside source bins for it, so we can see what variety is in every bin, and then we keep track of how much has gone in versus how much comes out, and then it's up to date through the whole plant Any change happens, it goes to all the screens in the plant so everybody knows what's in what bin at all times.
And this can be changed at different places in the plant. There's computers there.
Yeah. So that's what we're running in the plant. You'll see that when you go outside. And then we got a container here that's weighing in. We have a lot of cameras here. We take a look at the top of the container just to make sure it's in good shape before we load it, because we don't want holes in it.
And somebody gets on top of every container to look to make sure the top's good. And somebody gets in the back of the container and they shut the doors to make sure there's no light coming in, because if there's light, there's probably a hole. Right, James?
We don't want any holes because they have a long ocean voyage. And if they get any holes, they'll get water in them and then it'll spoil it.
And then when we weigh it out, we take a picture of the roof.
So that lets us demonstrate to the customers that we did everything we could to make sure the container was good before we loaded it.
And they also take pictures inside the container when they're loading it.
A lot of pictures.
A lot of pictures. Well, we'll go for a walk. Do a walkabout. This warehouse is kind of a catch-all warehouse. A lot of empty skids, empty totes, empty boxes. All the cardboard, empty bags for the export plant is all down along this wall. And another thing I guess we didn't tell you about, see the numbers in the ceiling? Yeah. So we have rows. So this is A, B, C, and D. So if it's in B2, we know, like that row there, that's B2. So we keep track of all that on the computer. So when we go to ship a load, it'll tell you exactly where it is. This is where we load the van trailers. Oh, this is something. If you've ever seen Pro boxes, and I'm sure you have, this thing flips them over because they come like this nested, and this thing automatically grabs the box, takes it up, turns it around, and sets it back down, and it'll either nest them or unnest them. Saves a lot of time because all these boxes have to be nested and then unnested. So this warehouse is all seed beans. So every row, and it's all, we have numbers in the roof again. It's all kept track of in the computer, which variety. And when we do a variety, we send it to the lab in Tupperville for germination, because it all has to meet standard. We germ it before we process it. We germ it again after. Any questions so far?
No.
So there's this would be row C on our right, row D on our left, or the vice versa, I guess. There is an army of lift trucks here. We have it so they can only go through one high. We were going through too high. I had to replace the door. So I fixed that. Now they can only go through one high. This is all seed beans back here. And I guess they're not packaging. We'll go down where they do that. Are you filling boxes today? Or are you done? Okay. We have two automatic fillers. These are automatic fillers. You put the box on there, zero the scale. It automatically puts the right amount in. That's treated. This one's plain. That way there's no... And then we also have dust control, sucks the dust out, because when the beans are going in, there's a certain amount of dust. We don't do a lot of bagging back here, but when we do, it's an automatic bagger. You just pile the bags on here, and they're not bagging today. We'll see, there's a one in the other plant, we'll see it working. It takes the bag, fills it, and then it comes around, and the robot automatically piles it on the skid. We used to do all that by hand. There's a lot of checks and balances here to make sure there's no screw-ups. This is our chemical kitchen. So what we have here is 4 pre-mixed tanks. Each one will be a different chemical. And it's all controlled by a computer over here. It tells us everybody wants something different for treat, so that's why each one is a different chemical depending on what we're putting on. And we send it up, our treater's upstairs. We send it up. All these are on these skids here. If there was ever a tote got a leak, it only goes into that tray instead of on the ground. Otherwise our floor would be red, blue or purple or... Alright. It's gonna be a little noisy in here. I probably won't say much, but I will show the equipment. Everything's controlled automatic. They come in to the cleaner, over the cleaner. Now the bin must have got full because it automatically shuts the cleaner off. Goes through the cleaner. Then up there is electric eye. They look at every soybean. You want to see that thing? Yeah, sure. So what this is, it lines the beans up in single file. They're going down there in single file. This thing looks at the bean. If it doesn't like it, it gives it a blast of air and blows it out. See the beans going down in single file. What this does, if there's a stone or anything in it, there's a de-stoner down below, but this separates the light soybeans from the heavy ones. They've already been over the cleaner. They go from here to the de-stoner and then the electric eye. The cleaner started up, the bin must have got low enough. When the bin gets low, it automatically starts up. So these are 120,000 bushel bins. This one and the one behind it are crusher beans. The rest are all White Highlands, which will go to the White Highland plant. And all these tanks have to do with the seed plant. This is our newest receiving. That's a 125-foot tall leg. Everything is drags, and they're all built on site here. Oh, they're getting ready to do something. Maybe load bulk soybeans would be my guess. So the white Highlands that we have in these tanks come down this spout, up that long conveyor, right there into that first tank, and then into our white Highland plant that's up front. We'll circle around by the corn dryer. I'll show you that. It's a lot more interesting when we're receiving grain, of course. Right now all we're doing is pretty much shipping, processing and shipping. So this is our corn dryer. It's a Nico, and what's unusual about it, there's no screens in this dryer. It has those little triangles so the air comes out, and what there is on the inside of the dryer, there's a plenum chamber with the same triangles as these, only they're in a different spot. So the air goes through the grain and out these triangles. And then what's unusual with us, we put this jacket on there to keep the red dog off the roof of the bins, because when this thing's running, it's spewing a lot of red dog. And we dry corn, beans and wheat with this dryer. That's about it. So we'll go see the export plant. So these two bins here, pit 5, those are white Highlands, and really all they do there's I guess 3 bins. There's one behind, and they dump into this tank and then head into the cleaner. All these hopper tanks, and we saw those on the computer. James keeps track of what's in them all, and as they empty them out here, they change it on the computer out here. Then the guy in the office will know. So all this stuff is run by a control board inside. He just tells it which bin to get the beans out of, and then the appropriate conveyors will start. And all they have to do is make sure they got the right slide open. It fills the cleaner and then it'll shut it off. Same thing, we got 2 gravities, a destoner and a cleaner. And we have more electric eyes. We have the same electric eyes up here that we have in the other plant. This is our control board. And this is where he changes. If a bin gets empty, he just goes and opens the thing up and tells it, or if he puts something different in a bin. So right here, they're loading a bulk container. These tanks back here are on a scale, so we know exactly what we're putting in them. It's noisy in here. Soybeans make a lot of noise. And same thing, we fill totes here. There's no treat in this building. It's all untreated beans, mostly for end up in the food business. Edible soybeans. This is the container we saw get weighed in. So then we clean it with high pressure air. There's the hose right there. And then they take pictures inside. Somebody's already got inside this container to make sure there's no light shining in. This is totes going to the Far East. What's in that container? Bags or totes? Oh, that's a bulk one? Yeah. What he's doing here is preparing this container to load bulk in it. And what there is a plastic liner inside. Every customer has different requirements. Some we line with cardboard, some we line with plastic, some we do nothing. Everything comes at a cost. Oh, he's gonna move this lift truck. See, what he'll do is go get rid of that other pallet and put a fresh one in. We're having trouble getting containers right now. That's why this room's getting full. But we don't stop bagging.
Pile her up. Keep her rolling.
Well, the day will come that we'll have 10 containers here and they'll empty it.
Everything's got the Canadian flag on it to go to whatever country, right?
Yeah.
Mostly Japan, or how many other countries?
I think they ship to 17 countries and I'm not sure where all they go. Basically anybody that wants to write a check.
Yeah, well, they got money. Yeah.
We sell everything to a broker, so we don't worry about collecting the money. The broker.
Take one thing off your plate.
Yeah, and right there where that green light is, that's an X-ray machine. So if there's a piece of metal that you would get off an angle grinder in your soybeans, that'll stop and shut the whole line down.
Take that bag right out. That's amazing. So when he puts that pallet in there, is there obviously an spot that it has to sit?
Yeah, there's an angle on it. See the
Oh, angle. Yeah, okay, I see it now.
And then I was telling Nathan there's a light goes across here from those yellow bars. So if you were to walk in there, it shuts the whole line down.
Yeah.
So really nobody can get hurt.
A lot of things have changed in 40 years as far as employee necessities, employee safeties, everything to do with safety.
This used to be our warehouse. Well, Nathan, that's about the tour. I want to thank you for coming.
Yep, thanks.
And thanks for commenting on all the videos. That's always nice. I always look forward to your comments. Anyway, that'll about do it for this video. If you'd enjoyed this video, give us a like. If you haven't subscribed, have you subscribed?
Yeah.
A few times. Give us a subscribe and I'll catch you on the next one.